So this is my input queue. It's a singleton. It is just a private queue member for this queue header struct, and this holds a queue type which corresponds to all the objects I ended up serializing for the Game2 network. So as a sequence number, the data that holds the object to be deserialized, and a method representing whether it was is sent using TCP or UDP. And so that's an input queue. Once it is populated, it processes everything. How it gets populated is it works from so throughout the game, places where previously there was no networking, they all now send stuff, for example, to the network. Like in a contact manager, previously this would accept it, but now it's going to create a queue header and add it to this output queue. So my output queue is stored in my network manager, which sets up the whole network from the beginning of the game. And this has a output queue is also queue headers. And how things get pumped into the network is there's this private process output queue method, and this goes through the output queue and creates messages, sends it, serializes it. So essentially, how this works is all the objects that I serialized that I found throughout the game, stuff like collision, moving the objects, input, weapon creation. I encapsulated them all in like classes like collision data, game object transform data, player ready data for like the lobby state, input data, but they all derive from this serializer. It just means that they are serializable and deserializable based on the outgoing message, so they can read and write from it. And so what this means in the output queue, it's just an easy way to serialize and deserialize the objects. It sends the message, writes the network buffer, writes the network buffer this, and it sends it all. And the next step once it's at the output queue is there's this check network method which runs right after the output queue gets processed, and this just goes through everything. And if this data is hit, it will go through everything, it'll deserialize it, and then it'll add to the input queue. And now when the input queue gets processed, it'll go through all the different queue header, all the specific types that are related to what they should be doing, and then it will do stuff like transform, create either a mine or a missile, do collisions, input and stuff like that. So that's how essentially my queues ended up working. So for my lobby, how it works is within the game manager, there is now within the process input screen, if there's a network manager when it gets created, and just a single server. I guess I'll start going over this first. So how the game starts up is in this method here, network manager, when the constructor is hit. So somewhere be within the first game here. So right here gets instanced, and this will call the constructor. And so it creates all this configuration. It takes either requests and responses. And then here, there's a port here hard coded to this thing. And also this connection time is how long the while loop is going to go through and check if it got a hit. But anyways, up here, it discovers local peers. Then it's going to spin in this loop. And if it finds something within the time frame, that's a discovery response, which means it'll be from the active server. Creates the server, and then this becomes a client because a server hit it. So it sets this a network type. If it's a server, which is the default, it's going to create a new net server. Otherwise, it's just going to set this P network, which is a net peer, which is the derived class of both net client and net server. They'll become either a net client or a net server, and they'll spin. And this is the default status. It's also network status. It's just a server connected. But when the client hits, it will become server and client connected because the server already existed. And for example here, when the server gets this method, this is where the server will set itself the status. And this relates to the lobby because once both client and server have connected themselves, what's going to happen is now they'll be spinning in here. They'll spin here, and if server and client have both connected, then it's only going to be taking in the jump key or the space bar, whatever it's going to be set to be. It's going to check this. I changed this whole kind of structure now. It's this player structure, which just stores the two players and kind of cleans up a lot of the code, which is this player data, which has like ship and all this other stuff. Regardless, so now it's just gonna spin there, and then once it gets, if it's not ready, you'll switch to ready, and then it will just fire these up in UDP. So it's pretty efficient every frame. Then once they're both ready, it'll go to the play game. So that's how the lobby works, and how also the game initialization works. So for the ship movement stuff, I'm just gonna go back to some other stuff. Like when the ship moves, they have these same stuff as here before. So now as like a P active player to get just one ship, not for both of them, because now they both have the same input types and stuff. Then creates this header here, and it just networks it tagged to the output queue into the input queue, and now that'll get processed for both client and server, because it doesn't have to be just for a server, but for stuff like physics or whatever. So the physics stuff already only runs there, and then there's network game object, which derives from game object. And here is stuff. This is stuff like mines, missiles. They derive from it. And then so in the update here, if this is a server, it's gonna now pump the physics simulation data to the client, as well as add it to itself. And then when this gets pumped to the client from this, then it will move it with the physics as well. So that's how it differentiates between a client and a server. Okay, so now I'm going to be running the game. So first I start it up. So as you can see, it says waiting for player 2, so it's become a server, and now it's kind of gone away from that message and stuff. So now both client and server are up. As you can see, both computers have single player 1 ready. And as you can see, I'm verifying this is on both computers. I have one instance running here, and then on my laptop I have the same instance running, but there's only one instance of Visual Studio, so I'm kind of justifying on 2 computers. Okay, now I'm playing it, and as you can see, and on 2 different computers. Now I'm going to try to get to the end of the game. I'm just gonna drop some bombs maybe. So I'm going to try to kill off player 2 so I can get to the lobby screen again. Maybe player 2 a little bit. And one more kill and the game should reset. Killing good. Got 2 lives left, so he will. Okay, and player 1 wins. So now the screens go back, and if I press space, so this guy is ready, and I'm here. It says he's ready. And once the server clicks ready, and everything reset again. So I've validated that the game can go 1 full game, as well as multiple games back to the lobby. I'm going to try to win now. I'm trying to get the player 2 to win. Remember, player 2 won. And now, if you want to, probably you can, but I will be ending the recording here.